on this from the former President Rafael Correa in Louvain-la-Neuve, in exile in Belgium at the moment. Good to speak to you, Rafael. First of all, happy birthday. I appreciate you are talking to us tonight on your birthday today. Clearly, this is unprecedented in Ecuador. Tell me about Jorge Glass. He served under you as vice president. Have you spoken to him since the arrest? Do you have any sense of where he is now?
Well, thank you very much for this interview. Thanks for remember my birthday, and I received a very nice birthday present with this new Ecuadorian crisis. I haven't spoken to Jorge since the violation, the burst inside the Mexican embassy in Quito. And well, I was listening the report before this interview that he's accused of corruption. Jorge Glass is an honest man. He is a political persecuted person. And for this reason, Mexico granted asylum to him. That is the recognition that he is an innocent man and he is a persecuted politician.
Now, your situation, let's just discuss it with you personally because you're in Belgium. You have asylum there. Top court in Ecuador back in 2020 sentenced you to 8 years in prison in absentia for corruption to do with your associates and those within your government at the time is linked to a similar thing. I think to your case, it was, am I right to say, accused of accepting $7.5 million in bribes, which you denied in exchange for state contracts. This is to do with the same thing.
Yes, it's a political persecution. Otherwise, I wouldn't have received asylum from Brussels. Do you imagine Brussels covering a corrupted man? When you receive asylum, that means you are a political persecuted person. The corrupted persons are the others, the people who are pursuing you. So the same thing for Jorge Glass. That is an opportunity that allow us to let know to the world what is going on in Ecuador. During the last years, it has been there a huge political persecution against what they call Correísmo. That means my political party, left-wing party. So we are persecuted, and Mexico, Brussels, Belgium, Europe have recognized this situation.
Now, worth saying as well, in your time in office, many people watching this will remember the time of Julian Assange, who you allowed to be granted asylum in your embassy at the time in London. How do you see this playing out right now with what's happened, with how Mexico's reacting to this?
This is a very good example because Julian Assange stayed 7 years inside our embassy in London. And the British police, the British public forces, the British government never dare to enter our embassy because they know very well international law. Well, this new government in Ecuador, they don't recognize anything. They believe that they are above the international framework, legal framework, and they bounce into the Mexican embassy in Quito. This is a casus belli. This is a cause for war. Thank God we have a very good government, very good president in Mexico, but usually this is an invasion because the embassy is foreign territory. So it's a casus belli, but Mexico is handling very well this situation. But of course, Mexico broke diplomatic relations with Ecuador.
Let me put to you the statement from the government, the Office of President Daniel Noboa today, saying, quote, the arrest had gone forward because, quote, Mexico abused, they say, the immunity, the privileges granted to the diplomatic mission, i.e. that this was a criminal they were harbouring. And Mr. Glass, it continues, his asylum was contrary to all conventional legal frameworks. So that's the argument put forward tonight by the Ecuadorian government. You're laughing.
A lecture about international relations, about international law. The international law is very clear. The Caracas Convention, you can have, it's your right, sovereign right, to grant asylum to any person that you think that government thinks is a political persecuted person, and that is exactly what Mexico have done. So you cannot decide according to your convenience, and you follow the international treaty signed by Ecuador or when you can dismiss it. So what is doing? The Ecuadorian government shows nothing more that we have really a very responsible, very authoritarian government.
Tell me something, Rafael. Just you're in a situation now, you're in Belgium in exile. Given what's happened to Jorge Glass, your former vice president, are you rethinking your security arrangements in Belgium tonight?
Every day we risk our security. We are under danger every day. We receive threat. We receive every day a new lawsuit, a new accusation, a new defamation, etc. So, but we are fighting against that, and we're gonna prevail. We are going to prevail. Unfortunately, the cost is already too high for the Ecuadorian people and for the country.
What is life like for you in Belgium? I mean, I know it's not the only place, you're not the only politician in exile there. Carles Puigdemont, the former president of the Catalonia region of Spain in Waterloo, I spoke to him, I spent time there. You're in Louvain-la-Neuve. Do you feel free? Do you talk about, all these allegations against you? Are you free to walk about?
Yes, of course, because, Belgium is a country under the rule of law, so in that sense, I am very safe here in the whole Europe.
I understand, but
anyway,
I say that, Mr. President, simply because Carles Puigdemont talked about security following his vehicles everywhere, that there's CCTV above his property all the time. Do you sense you are being followed in Belgium or not?
Yes, there is even a lawsuit in Spain because we discovered that we were being under espionage. We have been followed for a Spanish enterprise, USEC Global. So there is a lawsuit right now in Spain because of that. They follow me, they report to the Ecuadorian government, to the CIA in the United States, and there is a lawsuit right now.
What would happen if you returned to Ecuador?
Right now?
Yeah.
I can be killed or in prison because it's a matter of time that everything that they built with in a so mean way fall apart. But we have to continue fighting. That is an opportunity to let the world to know what is going on in Ecuador. Ecuador is a destroyed country. I led the government and the country as the second safest country in the region. Now we are among the five most violent, most unsafe countries in the world. So they destroy the country for the political persecution, for the political hate. So, but soon or later, we will prevail, and the truth will appear. But anyway, that is an opportunity to let the world, to let the France 24, to know what is going on in Ecuador.
I worked as a correspondent during your time in office in Latin America. I know you led to reform to the police force. There was a time where Ecuador was considered a stable country. You talk about the descent into violence, the drugs gangs. Just tell me about the situation, given what's happened this evening. There are elections coming up again. Where do you see this going, this latest diplomatic incident?
It's very harmful for the country. With this example, anybody can enter our embassy around the world, any of our embassies. What will be the treatment for our migrant people? Who will invest in a country that do not respect international law, even the national constitution? So that is very harmful. This will have terrible consequences for the whole country.
Is there any way you can get a message to, or you can find out what's happening with Jorge? We're told that he was injured in the incident, and we don't actually know where he is right now.
He was hit during the incident very strongly. He can walk, but almost cannot walk. So now he's traveling with, of course, with the police to Guayaquil, to a high security prison. So that is crazy. He's a former vice president. My God, he was a political refugee from the Mexican government, a very serious government. What is happening there? My God.
Good to talk to you tonight, especially on your birthday evening. Former President of Ecuador, President Rafael Correa, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.